Here are today's headlines. Defense officials clear Special Assistant to the President Bongo of allegations of intervening in the Navy's frigate project. The Department of Social Welfare and Development sends relief assistance to residents affected by Mayon volcano. Police are ordered to arrest NPA leaders Benito and Wilma Tianzon following the cancellation of their bail. The autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao aims to attract more visitors with its lineup of festivals this year. Good day, I'm Pia Roses Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Defense officials have denied the involvement of Malacanang or Special Assistant to the President Bongo in the Philippine Navy's frigate acquisition project. Go himself also said he is not privy to the formulation of the Navy contract. Here's our report.
Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana said that Special Assistant to the President Christopher Bongo did not in any way interfere with the Philippine Navy's 18 billion peso frigate acquisition project or FAP. Lorenzana said the document allegedly handed by Go to the Secretary of National Defense was from Hanwha, one of the Combat Management System or CMS proponents for the frigate project. He said the document was endorsed through the proper channels to Navy Chief Rear Admiral Robert Empedrad. Lorenzana stressed that the Navy crafted the contract for the frigate project and there was no hint or guidance from the palace or from Go to influence the conduct or direction of the project. The FAP is one of the key pieces of the Armed Forces of the Philippines modernization program as it seeks to provide the country with the capability to deal with air, surface, and subsurface threats. DND spokesperson Arsenio Andolong said there is no good reason to cancel the FAP despite suggestions coming from some members of Congress. Earlier, Magdalor Representative Gary Alejano claimed that the FEP project is bombarded with anomalies, including the alleged preference for the Hanwha CMS. Former Flag Officer in Command Vice Admiral Joseph Mercado also denied Go's involvement in the frigate project and insisted that any correspondence about it is between the Navy and the DND. For his part, Go said his name was unfairly dragged in this issue. Go also emphasized that the frigate project was already a done deal in 2016 during the time of former President Benigno Noynoy Aquino. He also vowed to resign if his intervention in the project was proven. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The Department of Health will refer 5 new cases of deaths linked to the use of the dengue vaccine Demvaxia to the panel of experts from the UP Philippine General Hospital. Undersecretary Enrique Domingo said the DOH Epidemiology Bureau is coordinating with hospitals to get the case records of these 5 new cases. The UP PGH panel was formed to validate independently allegations of death due to Demvaxia, which had been administered to more than 830,000 in public school children under a DOH immunization program. The panel is already looking into 14 cases of deaths linked to the controversial vaccine. The same cases are being investigated by the Public Attorney's Office, which said that the children succumbed to dengue shock syndrome. Sanofi Pasteur earlier agreed to pull out the unused Demvaxia vaccines in DOH storage facilities until Friday. In Central Visayas, where community-based immunization for dengue was also held, the withdrawal of the vaccines would be completed by next week. The Commission on Elections has released the calendar of activities for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections set for May 14. The election period is set from April 14 to May 21. The filing of certificates of candidacy is from April 14 until April 20. The 9-day campaign period will be from May 4 until May 12. During this period, COMELEC prohibits giving of any donation or gift, appointment of special policemen, construction or maintenance of barangay-funded roads and bridges, appointment or hiring of employees, creation of new position, promotion and giving of salary increases, and remuneration of privileges. Campaigning is prohibited on the eve of Election Day on May 13. COMELEC also prohibits the alteration or establishment of precincts, carrying of firearms or other deadly weapons, use of security personnel or bodyguards by candidates, transfer of officers and employees in the civil service, and suspension of any elective local officer. On Election Day, voting and polling precincts will be from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Operatives of the PNP Counterintelligence Task Force arrested the police chief of Sasmuan Town in Pampanga for extortion. CITF spokesperson Chief Inspector Jewel Nicanor identified the arrested policeman as Senior Inspector Romeo Bulanadi. He was arrested inside the Sasmuan police station around 7:15 p.m. Tuesday. Bulanadi became the object of an entrapment operation after a carnival operator filed a complaint claiming that the former tried to extort 30,000 pesos from him. The suspect allegedly threatened to confiscate all the carnival's equipment should the operator fail to give in to the extortion demand. Finance officials are vying to simplify tax rates on investments products in the Philippines, partly to help improve public services and address the complex tax rates of financial products. Finance Secretary Carlos Domingo III said Package 4 of the tax reform program, which finance officials target to submit to Congress by the middle of this year, will correct years of attrition and simplify the rates. He cited that the peso-denominated investment product that has a tenor of less than 5 years is being slapped at 20% withholding tax for interest it earned, but the rate is zero for those that have tenors of more than 5 years. He said a dollar-denominated investment product has a 7.5% withholding tax regardless of tenor. Dominguez said Package 4 of the tax reform will be revenue neutral. He is optimistic that the financial industry will welcome the proposed reform in the tax rates of the products they offer. Finance Undersecretary Antoinette Tionco said the proposed reform on rates will help the public determine which products are best for them. Still to come, the Department of Social Welfare and Development sends relief assistance to residents affected by Mayon volcano. PHIVOX launches an earthquake model atlas to map out disaster-prone areas in the country. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
This is a very memorable day for the people, not only of Bulacan, but of the whole Philippines.
This is it. Magandang-maganda pong project ito. At we look forward to more projects, not only in Bulacan, but in all parts of the Philippines.
This will provide the socialized transportation that will link the Clark International Airport and the NAIA.
Nanguna nitong proyekto na ito at talagang hands-on pagkatapos daw po ng groundbreaking.
Railway system ang magiging lifeblood of the lifeline of our economy.
Programa ho ito upang simulan ang proyekto. Kaya nandiyan yung mga truck, nandiyan yung mga heavy equipment. Hindi ho sila sirkulasyon. Sila ho ay handa ng magtrabaho pagkatapos ng programa. Pre, kasama ng proyektong ito. Airport, kasama ng mga airport na aming mga itatayo. Road, kasama ng mga greenways na aming ilalagay. Yung maritime, kasama yung mga puertong aming pinapalaki at pinapalayan. I ask you, Media, you can be our partner in development, and I pray to God, be partners in development with us. And you can do so simply by doing one thing. I-publish yung totoo. Huwag mag-alipusta, huwag mamutya, at huwag magbintang na hindi base sa katotohanan. Yung totoo lang po. Be partners with us so that as I plea and make a petition to them to help us, I ask you to help us. Because developments and projects in this country will not materialize, will not grow, and will not develop until and unless we have the cooperation of all. Not only transportation, but the local government. Not only local government, but the houses of Congress. Not only the houses of Congress, but the financial institution as well. But more importantly and more so, including the media. At bibit-bitin ng bit-bil-bit upang magkaroon ng kabuhayan, katunayan, at kagitian sa mga proyektong pinapangako sa inyo.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development has sent relief assistance to residents affected by the unrest of Mayon volcano. About 9,000 families are in need of help inside and outside evacuation centers. Here's our report.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, through its field office in the Bicol region, has sent 5.42 million pesos worth of relief assistance to families who evacuated to safety as lava continues to flow from Mayon volcano in Albay province. DSWD Bicol sent a total of 5,500 family food packs and 11,000 pieces of malong to the provincial government of Albay for distribution to families staying in evacuation centers in the province. DSWD has also provided 500 food packs and 1,000 pieces of malong to the Legazpi city government. DSWD Officer in Charge Emmanuel Leico said they are closely monitoring developments in Albay and coordinating with local government units to determine the needs of affected residents. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council reported that the number of families affected by the eruption of Mayon volcano has now climbed to 9,480. Affected families are residing in 36 barangays located in Kamalig, Ginobatan, Ligao City, Daraga, Tabaco City, Malilipot, Santo Domingo, and Legazpi City. Over 8,000 families are being helped inside 30 evacuation centers, while 1,184 families are being aided outside. Also, the series of phreatic explosions and lava flows have prompted the preemptive evacuation of 3,904 families. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondok.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology launched the Philippine Earthquake Model Atlas, aiming to help engineers in designing earthquake-resilient structures and buildings. The Atlas will be the engineer's guide in designing dams, bridges, as well as nuclear, biological, and chemical facilities. The PM Atlas will also serve as a guide for land use and urban planning and disaster risk management planning of various government agencies, local government units, and other stakeholders, it added. The maps were generated through the collaborative expertise of seismologists, geologists, engineers, and researchers from PHIVOX in consultation with various concerned agencies. Department of Science and Technology Secretary Fortunato de la Peña earlier said that for this year he wants to help people to be more prepared for disasters. Among the strategies he has been planning is the disaster preparation information dissemination to be done by all DOST-attached agencies. The Department of Trade and Industry will be focusing its Strike Team program for indigenous peoples on Lumad this year. Undersecretary for Regional Operations Group Zenaida Maglaya said DTI will strengthen and expand their reach to Lumad, the country's largest indigenous group. Maglaya said the regional offices will identify Lumad communities where they can help in terms of product development and trainings. As of December 2017, the program conducted 87 entrepreneurial trainings, assisted over 5,000 beneficiaries, and linked 52 micro, small, and medium enterprises to financial institutions. Under the Strike Team program for IPs, the department brings its services to 30 poorest provinces in the country, giving them entrepreneurial trainings and linking them to financial institutions, among others. In the 2015 full-year official poverty statistics of the Philippines, 9 of the 30 poorest provinces in the country are in Luzon, 6 are in Visayas, and 15 are in Mindanao. Benguet Province has received a total budget of 45.52 billion pesos this year for infrastructure. Benguet Representative Ronald Cosalan said 4.25 billion pesos has been allocated for road widening and slope protection of primary and secondary national roads. This includes the improvement of the circumferential road in the Plist or Baguio, La Trinidad, Itogon, Sablan, Tuba, and Tublay areas. Cosalan, together with Baguio City Representative Mark Go, jointly authored a bill for the realization of the Plist Circumferential Road, which is now pending at the Senate. Cosalan also said a 4.25 billion fund was already downloaded for the completion of the concreting of priority road projects to help in the transport of products of the province. Benguet Province will also receive 40 billion pesos intended to boost the agriculture industry of the province. To make education better for the students in Benguet, the government has also allotted 1.2 billion pesos for school building construction and repair. The provincial government of Ilocos Norte is all set to mark the province's bicentennial anniversary on February 2. Governor Amy Marcos said she hopes that the celebration would be a meaningful time for all Ilocanos to rediscover local history and heroes who have brought pride and honor to the province. Even though the 200th year celebration of the province's anniversary is expected to be grand, Marcos reminded local government units to avoid unnecessary expenses. Every town is expected to showcase its own bicentennial project early next month. To kick off the celebration, a street dancing competition will be held on January 26, starting in front of the provincial capital, leading to the Information Technology Park in San Nicolas Town. The provincial government is also set to launch several books about distinguished locals who helped shape Ilocos Norte. Since February last year, residents and officials began the bicentennial countdown in front of the capital with a shower of confetti and unveiling of the countdown marker. Up next, police are ordered to arrest NPA leaders Benito and Wilma Tianzon following the cancellation of their bail. The autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao aims to attract more visitors with its lineup of festivals for this year. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Alam ko na malaking convenience ang mabibigay nito sa mga residente ng ating mga barangay. I hope they will take this opportunity to process their passport applications. Tagad din natin na sa darating na mga buwan ay may extend ito hindi lang dito sa National Capital Region but also in the provinces.
Salamat ulit sa inyong pag-unawa. Salamat po sa prayers, pagdasal niyo po na maging mas successful ito at dumami pa po yung mga programa na kami po ang pupunta sa inyo rather than kayo po ang kailangan pumila pa. In the next few days po, we will be launching more innovations, more programs to serve you better.
Malacanang said the Philippine National Police is mandated to hunt down and arrest NPA leaders Benito and Wilma Tianzon. The local court has canceled the bail of the couple who is facing murder charges. Here's our report.
Malacanang said the Philippine National Police is set to serve the warrant of arrest on rebel leaders Benito and Wilma Tianzon and Adalberto Silva. Judge Telma Boni Medina of the Manila Regional Trial Court Branch 32 granted the Department of Justice's motion for the cancellation of their bail following the collapse of peace talks between the government and communist rebels. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque Jr. said the police were duty-bound to conduct manhunt operations against the three communist leaders if they go in hiding or refuse to surrender. The Chamsons are facing murder charges over the killing of 15 civilians found in a mass grave in Leyte. Benito Chamson is identified as the chairman of the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army, while his wife Vilma is the Secretary General of the group. They were granted bail in 2016 to allow them to participate in formal peace talks as consultants of the National Democratic Front of the Philippines. On November 23, 2017, President Rodrigo Duterte signed Proclamation 360 declaring the termination of peace talks with the communist rebels due to the NPA's continued violent attacks on government forces and civilians. The president also labeled the CPP-NPA as a terror organization. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joselle Danganan.
The Bureau of Immigration barred more than 5,000 foreign nationals from entering the country last year. BI Port Operations Division Chief Mark Red Marinas said the aliens were prevented from entering the country as their presence was deemed inimical to national interest. Statistics show that Chinese nationals topped the list of excluded aliens. Marinas disclosed that majority of foreigners were turned away at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Most of the aliens who were turned back were profiled as individuals who did not have the means to support their stay here and whose purposes in entering the country were doubtful. Exclusion orders were also issued against foreign nationals convicted of sex crimes, improperly documented aliens, and passengers who were rude and disrespectful towards immigration officers. Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente commended the port operations personnel as he exhorted them to keep their vigilance. After missing the first practice session, Junmar Fajardo made an appearance as the weekly Gilas training for the FIBA World Cup qualifiers second window continued on Monday night at the Meralco Gym in Pasig. Also in attendance among the seniors were Japeth Aguilar, Gabe Norwood, Kiefer Ravena, Alain Maliksi, Gio Halalon, Matt Wright, Carl Cruz, Troy Rosario, and Kevin Alas. R.R. Pugoy also showed up, but he did not suit up for practice. Calvin Abuevas, Jason Castro, and Raymond Almazan were absent in practice, but according to team manager Butch Antonio, Abueva excused himself due to personal matters. Also making his first Gilas practice is Cadet Abu Tratter, joining fellow youngster CJ Perez. Only Perez returned to practice among the cadets who were there last week, with a majority of the other players playing in the Philippine Collegiate Champions League qualifiers. The Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao is promoting its lineup of festivals for this year. The Department of Tourism hopes for the cooperation of communities to draw in more tourists. Here's our report.
The Department of Tourism in the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao is staging several festivals to lure more tourists to visit the region. ARMM Tourism Secretary Ayesha Vanessa Hajar Dilangalin said these festivals scheduled in the coming months will have active participation from domestic and foreign visitors. Maguindanao would celebrate its Inaul Festival in February, which would include an international airsoft competition, Cariala Festival in Waolanao del Sur also in February, and the Budbongao Day in Tawi-Tawi in March. Budbongao in Tawi-Tawi and Mount Minandar in Maguindanao are two of the newly introduced tourist destinations in ARMM. Meanwhile, the opening of Buluan Boulevard in Maguindanao, which will feature an exquisite display of man-made lights in addition to a river cruise, as well as activities under the One Mindanao Tourism Campaign, are also expected to lure visitors from other regions. An event showcasing tourist attractions in the region is set to be held in April in the walled city of Intramuros in Manila, where ARMM products will be exhibited. At the same time, scheduled this year is the Tourism Crisis Symposium, which will help ARMM communities learn about proper response in times of need and to capacitate them as well. Among DOT ARMM's plans is to reinforce efforts in community-based tourism. Dilangalin was positive of the year 2018 since her office was able to strengthen its linkages with the national government and with other partners. She stressed the need to strengthen the preparation of communities to have sustainable tourism through which they get to work together in giving tourists an exquisite experience. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's headlines. Defense officials clear Special Assistant to the President Bongo of allegations of intervening in the Navy's frigate project. The Department of Social Welfare and Development sends relief assistance to residents affected by Mayon volcano. Police are ordered to arrest NPA leaders Benito and Wilma Tianzon following the cancellation of their bail. The autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao aims to attract more visitors with its lineup of festivals for this year. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.